USB mode.
Oh, that's fun. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Devil's Advocate Trades Edition. I didn't put my speaker on, so if you heard that in the background, USB mode, that was me not being prepared. Whoops. I'm like looking at it. I'm like, oh, my speakers aren't on. That's not good. Anyway, so many things to talk about. And then there's like, it's like the same shit. Do you know what I mean? Same shit, different day, SSDD. If you watch Dreamcatcher, you know that phrase. So I'm drinking out of my favorite cup. It was given to me as a gift by my really good friend, Greg, and his beautiful wife, Mandy. I love them to death. And it says, I'm fucking over it. It's my cup today. And I agree. I agree. Anyway, drinking my coffee. So this segment is going to run really well. Let's start there. So I started my segment, Hard Hats, Hard Truth. I managed to rope in my producer as my co-host, which I thought was great for two reasons. Number one, Michael has a background in HVAC and worked in construction for years on the ground. Okay, boots on the ground. And not only that, but he is my producer. He's a super funny guy. We tend to have opposing political views on a lot of things. And he's male. So when we're talking about construction, sometimes it's good when we're reading these, because my segment actually is basically completely surrounded by a question that I put out to TikTok. And the question was basically like, you know, like, what's your experience, ladies, on construction sites? And another one is, what's your concerns? And let me tell you, the men came in drones to comment. I'm like, why are you guys all bitching about trans at this point? Like, Jesus. For the men that are allies and saying some nice things and backing up women and supporting women, thank you. I appreciate that. For the rest of you with your big fucking feelings coming into my comment section when I'm asking women a question, fucking wow, bro. Tell me your ass hurt without telling me. But anyway, I digress. And then I love how they're like, well, why do women get celebrated for, you know, for Women in Construction Day or for, you know, for Women Days? And it's like, because we do everything and get no fucking credit. A lot of times, not all women. Not all women. You know how you guys can all be like, not all men? Same shit. No double standards on this fucking podcast. So, I just find it amusing. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm going to look at my phone. So I was actually quite impressed. Oh, we got to mute you. I was actually quite impressed at the amount of momentum. So I've got 31.1 thousand views. Let's see here. There is 476 likes and 426 comments, 55 reshares. So first of all, thank you to everybody who is adding a comment, liking it, viewing it, sending it. I think it's a good topic. Okay. And there are a lot of mixed comments in here, both men and women. And it's what's fueling my entire segment. Now I did another one. So this one is the Women in Construction. Tell me what your experience has been like. Because I genuinely want to know. But now because I've got all this, Michael and I are laughing because we're like, well, shit, we got material to answer these questions and go through some of these comments, you know, for like months. And I'm like 100%. But then I have another one that's got over 7,000 views and 79 likes, 9 reshares, and 98 comments. And this one is, what are the main women's concerns in construction? You know, the men came in drones on that one and had a comment to say the majority of comments in here are by men, not by women. 96 comments, the majority are by men. And they're not flattering. Okay. A few of them are, but not many. So like, thank you for giving me a whole bunch of like, you know, material for this segment. Let's start there. Thank you for that. But I think it's good that myself and Michael will be able to go through these together. You know, as hosts, and just kind of tackle some of them from both perspectives. Because it doesn't mean Michael and I are going to have the same view, but at least we can talk about it. And being that we're on, you know, we're both, you know, people in construction, we both had boots on the ground, both have more than 10,000 hours boots on the ground. We come from that world, but then I'm also a female perspective. He's a male perspective. I think it's a great thing. I will say this, Michael's not a chauvinist at all. So to him, it's like he'll make comments and I'll be like, that's fair. You know, he'll say to me, like, I'd never expect a woman to bring down 198 pound, you know, furnace. I've never seen it done. I'm not going to expect her to bring it down to the basement. I usually do that. He's like, I'm not a big man, but I usually do that because I'm built different than a female. And I always love that phrase because my significant always says that to me. I'm built different. I'm like, nigga, you not built different. People are like, oh my God, did you say the N-word? Yes, because it means ignorant. Like all my very Caucasian son and my very Caucasian significant nigga, because they ignorant. But and yes, I hold the color card, but regardless, it is what it is. I hold the Caribbean card. So I want too many people to get upset about it. Some people get really butthurt about it. I'm like, you know what? Don't use it as an oppressive word. It is not oppressive. And Black people took it back and they own it because that was something that was a derogatory term used to them. No different than in Caribbean culture. If you are Black, they call you that, like from Africa. And if you are from India, Caribbean, then they call you coolie. And they said the same thing about Chinese people. They call them coolies as well. And it all depends on how you use it. My family, like my dad used to call his sister coolie all the time. And I was like, Dad, isn't that a bad word? Like, aren't you like basically like calling her like nigga? And he was like, it's fine. And then he would say the word too. He would say all of it because he grew up in Guyana. So he used all those terms. So I grew up listening to my father call everybody a coolie and a nigga. And that was just how it was. Except for he used the hard R, like, you know, like Tony the Tiger. So I don't use the hard R. I find that to be a little bit, you know, I mean, unless I'm angry at my significant or my child, the hard R don't come out often, you know, like that's kind of like that's a reserved for like, you done pissed me off. So but yeah. Anyways, in case some of you are like, oh my God, she said it. Yeah, I said it. It's not a big deal. I don't, like I said, they ignorant. All right. Go look it up in a dictionary. I mean, ignorant. So, but there's so many things to talk about in regards to construction. And, you know, I'm going to tell you guys, so I'm going to give you guys a story time of something that I'm going through. And so I want contractors and trades to listen to this, especially those that own companies and that are in doing residential and condo and, you know, and commercial. Okay. So all of the above. But this is what I want you to listen to. So we're going to talk about a really wonderful, so in Alberta, we have, the Prompt Payment and Construction Lien Act. Okay. And so what happens is a lot of people don't know about this. So they were calling it the Builders Lien Act for a long time. But what was happening is that they needed to create a dynamic aspect of legislation that basically talked about prompt payments because too many people were in the builders lien world were leaning properties, and they were leaning properties for a multitude of reasons. Predominantly for non-payment. So what happened is the legislation had to change to explain if they were giving you a proper invoice with, you know, the address, the service address, their address, the services that were provided, and the price, and you were not. So your invoicing can't just be like a written invoice with not a whole lot of information. It's you have to have all of the information, both your company and the client you're servicing, and then with all of the information down. It doesn't have to be like, you're not like extrapolating, you know, like we hammered for 20 hours, but you have to put in the work that was completed inside of that, however you want that to look. Okay. But because I'm always like, be careful, because although knowledge is power, it's also easy for people to freak out about. Like I would never say to somebody, oh, I spent 10 hours doing this. But really that job is 20 hours, but I'm saying 10 because I'm worth the 20 hours, but I'm doing it in 10. And everybody nowadays wants to pay nothing for everything. And it's fucking annoying. And anyone who is a contractor, an owner of a construction company, an owner of a trades outfit, whatever you're doing, I don't care if it's plumbing, welding, whatever you're doing, janitorial, everybody wants everything for fucking nothing. And it's like, cool. Well, then go find somebody who'll do it for nothing. And there's always those fucking boneheads out there that will be like, oh, I'll fucking do it for like 25% of what they're asking. And you're like, how are you making money, bro? Like, what are you doing? You are predatory pricing the rest of us. And then you're going to turn around and give them a change order that's going to end up costing the exact same, if not more, of what we were charging to begin with. So beware, buyer beware. When someone is coming in, and I will tell you this, and it is something that every trade knows. So for you assholes that are coming in under the rest of us and trying to predatory price, fuck you. And for the rest of you that are the client, look at the bottom line and make a decision on this basis. You get what you pay for. You want to pay peanuts on the dollar for someone? That's what you're going to get. You're going to get shortcuts, or you're going to get change orders out the ass. That's what's going to happen. So do yourself a favor, pay attention, and go with the people that are actually closer to what that price is going to be. No one is going to charge you a break-even cost. It is not going to happen unless they know you and they're related to you, then maybe. And at that point, you shouldn't be accepting that. You should be supporting their business and saying, no, I appreciate that you're willing to do it for cost. Add 20 points and I'll pay you that, or add 10 points and I'll pay you that. That to me, I always get mad when people are like, oh, well, my person does this, so I'm just going to expect them to do this. You know what? My significant came over. I sold my trampoline and I needed him to help me pull it apart, and he helped me pull it apart and I sold it. And, I called him back and said, hey, just come over for a quick minute. And he came over and he's like, what do you need? And I handed him $100 bill and I said, you know what? Thanks for coming and helping me pull this apart. I really appreciate it. And that to me is valuing your partner. Did I need to give that to him? No, he would have did it anyway. He loves me. He would have came and helped me. But that's not the point. The point is that I don't take him for granted. He took time out of his day to come over and help me do this. So why would I take him for granted? I do the same with my neighbors. I send them gift cards, or I, buy them a bottle of booze or whatever they want, stuff for their kids, or give them gift cards, like whatever they want. Because you know what, to me, what they're doing is helping me. I couldn't otherwise do it. So when you reach out and help people, of course, there's people that just want to help you and just want to be like, yeah, don't worry about it. We're neighbors. We'll eventually need something one day. I don't ever want them to feel, it's kind of two-way. I don't ever want them to feel like they're taken advantage of. And I don't ever want to feel like I owe a favor. That's how I look at it. I will normally just do things because I want to do things. But in this world, there's so many goddamn takers that I don't ever want someone to put me on do you remember that time when I did this for you? And I'll be like, yeah, do you remember that time when you did this for me and then I paid you? Cool story. So I've never had that problem with my neighbors. I am so blessed. And I thank you to whatever entity people want to pray to. To me, it's the universe. Thank you, universe, for putting this house to my mother, who then put it to me, so then we bought it, because the neighbors I have surrounding me are fucking gems. They are gems. I love them. I love their kids. They are just incredible, impeccable people. I don't have anything bad to say about my neighbors. And we're talking 3 to 4 houses down on each side, even across the street, just amazing neighbors, and behind me, just awesome people. I don't have any issues. If there's any issues, we work it out pretty quick. We're not like fucking crazy. And that's why I'm glad when I bought my house, I wanted to scope the different neighborhoods to find out who is more blue collar. And when I say blue collar, I mean in the trades. It doesn't mean that there's not owners that surround me, or, people that have an extensive amount of education. It's not saying that, because people are like, oh, trades, you don't need this, you don't need that. Or it's almost like we're looked down upon. It's like, I own a business. A few of my neighbors own businesses, but we're all down to earth because we're inside of the trade world, right? And I mean, truck drivers aren't considered that, but I consider them a trade. I think it's a skill trade. You a professional driver. And then and earth movers and like welders and roofers and electricians and like just fucking amazing people. And like, I love their wives, and their wives all do amazing things. I did talk about my one neighbor. He is he's got ownership into an earth moving company, and his wife is amazing, and she helps locate missing children. And they've got a beautiful family, and I just love them to death. And so she brings a lot of value in the world, because let me tell you something, as a parent, it is unfathomable to think about your child going missing. But when it fucking happens, you want her team on your side to make sure that people are getting the information and helping look for your children. And she does that. And I have her on a little pedestal. Nobody can knock her off. She's on a little pedestal. She's like, this girl right here. Don't be fucking with her. But she's feisty though. I like that about her. She's feisty because she's a fire sign like me. But anyway, so everybody wants something for nothing. And that's what I get angry about. And so when I sit there, I want you guys to go in and look at the Prompt Payment and Builders Lien and Construction Lien Act. It is very important that you guys understand that, both clients and contractors, okay? Contractors and trades. If you are in there, and when I say trades, I mean everybody. I mean clean, anything that happens inside of a home, cleaners, like my brain stopped, ventilation systems, or cleaning, furnace cleaning, anything, flooring, plumbing, electrical, whatever. GCs, you need to know this, okay? All you general contractors need to be up and up on that act. And let me tell you something. You want to hear a fun fact? If you're in Alberta and you're not far from Calgary, June 12th and 13th, preferably the 13th, we are putting on a session and we are having experts come in and talk about prompt payment and construction lien. And they are going to educate you as to what you need to pay attention to, what the act, what's all involved in the act and how you move forward with it and why it exists. Okay. So that's something I'm really excited about, being that I'm on the committee for the ACR. So yay. But other than that, I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes we have to be stringent in how we're going to move forward. People, when a lot of us that are good at what we do are happy to do things without a payment, in the sense of, I'm happy to add a little extra while I'm here. No problem. I can help do this or I can help do that. I know a lot of contractors that do that. Oh, you need this done while I'm on site? Sure, no problem. I'll just do it for you. And they don't bill for it. It's just like a no problem. I'm already here. I do similar things like that. And when people come back and they tell you that they don't want to pay you, you need to implement boundaries immediately. Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. Because I'm telling you right now, if you get someone like me who is an advocate for condo and is avoiding you from getting liened, making sure everybody's happy, making sure that everything is moving forward, that everybody has the information, that things are being done appropriately, and you come and try and fight me on a bill and an advocate has to lien you, that's a bad day for you. That speaks volumes of the governance fail inside of your condo. Because if you ever have to get liened by someone who's on your side, that's, it's almost like traitorous. It's like, what are you doing? Like, why would you even fight this? Like, there's so much information that us advocates give you because we want you to make sound decisions. And then you turn around and you're like, oh, well, we're not going to pay you. And, I've had it happen a couple of times. And all I have to say to you guys is, yes, I will lien people. I will utilize that legislation, the Prompt Payment and Construction Lien Act. I will use that legislation. I will get my lawyer involved and I will say, send it. Because for me, like I said, and all of you should feel this way, do not mistake my kindness for weakness. If I go above and beyond for your property and then you want to bark at my bill, we're going to have a problem. But the difference between me, like a year ago and now is that I just don't give a fuck anymore. I'm like, I was talking to a property manager and oh my God, like she was doing everything she could. She is a gem and she was doing everything she could to talk to this property about some of the things they were doing because they were going to get liened. And they were just like, they doubled down on stupid. Like they doubled down on it. They were like, well, we didn't have this, we didn't have that. And she was sending all of the documents. This is where you guys approved it. This was signed. This happened. You guys can't renege. There's no haggling after the fact. The contract is done. Why is this a problem? And then it's like, oh, well, we were blindsided. And she's like, excuse me? And and I'm sitting there and I'm watching this go down and I'm not saying anything because I'm like, nope, this is not my fight. And I just thought to myself, fuck, I feel for property managers. They are not paid enough to deal with this bullshit. These are agents of your entire property. They are making sure that all of your operational aspects are addressed on the daily because it's operational. They are ensuring that anything that goes on with your reserve fund study is being handled accordingly. If you are a condo manager in Alberta, and you are constantly shit, pissed, and abused by your clients, because I know a lot of you are, there's some of your clients that are great and some of your clients that you could just do without. I feel for you because while you're sitting there trying to protect your client and reason with them and give them the risk management aspects of it, and they are just coming back saying that they're blindsided because they've got nothing else because they've doubled down on stupid as far as I'm concerned, you got nothing. I'm like, I said to her, back away. Do not respond. This is their fate. They're going to get liened. It doesn't matter who's leaning them. You've given all the proof. You've given all the evidence. You've done everything you need to do. And they are fighting you and threatening you with lawsuits and your company with lawsuits because they don't like that they didn't read their emails, is basically what it comes down to. They didn't read their emails. They didn't read the estimate. They just decided that they were going to, make up something in their head and go with it, which was basically, so you thought that somebody was just going to work for free. Cool story. Not a super fan of people like that, and people need to change. And boards, you need to pay attention to when your board does this and has your entire property liened. It will affect all of your sales. It will affect anything moving forward. I'm like, let me tell you something. It gets registered on your title. And if you've got contractors that are going to be coming on to do big projects and they see that there's a lien on your property, they get very nervous because they're like, well, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that drama. And then things don't get done on your property because it sounds like your board is being difficult. So they're going to ask for the backstory. Any contractor that goes on and pulls a title and sees that there's a lien, first thing they're going to do is go to contact the property manager, who are the gatekeepers to that board, and say, what's happening? And the board and then the property manager is going to give them a synopsis. They're not going to give them the nitty gritty. Property managers ain't got fucking time for that. They ain't out there doing a big yarn with people. They're like, yeah, you know what? This is what happened and this is where we are. And they're going to go, okay. And then they're going to say, do you think I'm going to have a problem with this? Did this person have a contract? Did this person have this? Did this person have that? If all of the above answers are yes to those questions, there's a good chance that a contractor will walk away because they don't want to deal with it. If there is a contract signed, if there's agreements signed, if things were signed off and these people are still doing this and there's no additional cost, no charge, no change orders, no nothing, contractors get scared. Even I do. Like when I go onto a site and I see that and I pull a title and I see that, I'm like, oh, geez. So stop trying to get everything for nothing. Read your fucking emails. Go and learn the act for prompt payment and construction lien act. Go and follow up on that. Contractors, do not give any more than you need to. Ensure that you've got good clients. You have documents signed, that you are being honest and upfront. And for the rest of you that, try and predatory price the good ones out here, fuck off. Like if you're like, oh, I don't have a high overhead. I don't give a shit if you don't have a high overhead. Charge it what it's worth. You know that the guy that's got like an office and a shop and trucks and this and that is going to charge more because he's got overhead to deal with. He's sending 4 guys out. It's not 1 guy. So let's try and be a little bit realistic. There are some things that people overcharge 100%. But then you can always come to someone like me who's an advocate, and I'll look at it and I'll tell you what's more realistic. And I will tell you the basis that, yes, this guy is actually within his right to charge this on these bases. And this guy is actually within his right to charge these bases. But if I'm telling you what it costs for material, time, and time, then they're both not wrong, or this guy's way out of line. And that's what I'll tell you. And it doesn't matter. It could be either or. So that's why I always encourage people to find independent advocates. Okay. And to someone that's going to actually look at it and say yes, even if they live in your family, like just ask them. People love to tell you that they'll be straight with you, especially if they're in industry. They're not going to be like, because they're going to look at somebody and be like, why the fuck's he charging that? Or Jesus Christ, I couldn't do it for that. What's he doing? So it's always good to get a second opinion, maybe even a third. Anywho, that's my rant for the day. We will catch you guys on Thursday. So tomorrow, for our segment. And thank you again to all the people that are responding to my comment and all the men that are jumping in and showing their ass. Come on, guys. Be better. Be better, not bitter. Anyways, thanks so much, everybody. You guys have an amazing week, and we'll catch you later, and don't do anything crazy.